Taking the Conqueror camper to the Pacific Northwest was an incredible adventure, but I've been back for a few weeks, and now it's time to bolt the Alu cab back onto the roof of the FJ and head out into unexplored territory. I'm heading to the Midwest for 9 days, gradually working my way towards Arkansas. The trails of the Ozarks are supposed to be incredible, and I'm finally going to get the chance to see them for myself.
We're going to be traveling through Kansas tonight, camping in Kansas tonight, and then I will be going to Arkansas because I've been wanting to do some off-roading in Arkansas. I've got a buddy down there, and he's got a Land Rover, and I'm not sure what all he has planned for this trip, but I'm going to meet up with him for a couple nights, and then I will be headed back. So this is going to be like a 9-day trip. Going to the Midwest is basically like going to Mexico as far as budget goes. It is cheap. It is so cheap. When you go out to eat, when you go get gas, everything is incredibly cheap. I do live in Colorado, which is notoriously expensive, and I also live in one of the tourist towns, which is notoriously expensive. But it's crazy going to Missouri because everything's cheaper. Once you get closer and closer, the gas gets cheaper, the food gets cheaper, everything gets cheaper. Yeah. Okay, I am a cold brew fiend. Sometimes I have hot coffee, but I prefer cold brew just because normally I'm camping in the hotter times of the year. I know some people drink their coffee black and there's no other way. I'm a millennial. I put stuff in my coffee, sorry. No shame. I prefer the Rumble Go coffee maker, and I use a Nalgene with it and a human cap because it makes the whole process a lot easier. Mint Invaders from Chocolate Space. I have to pour myself a little bit more for the road because I got a long day. The only thing with these coffees is that I do like just the taste of coffee. So I found this park on Ultimate Campgrounds, and it was listed as a free site. It's like 10 minutes off I-70. So I came here, and it wasn't listed as this online, but it's actually a memorial park. It was built for a lot of the fallen heroes of World War II. So I went and checked that out this morning, and just to pay my respects, since that's the reason this park has been built. It was a really nice campsite. It's not four-wheel drive or anything, but as far as Kansas goes, you can't find that many nice places to camp. And from everything I could find, it was free. I looked around just to make sure that Ultimate Campgrounds was right, and I will stay here again. This is a pretty nice spot for being, from what I can find, free. And yeah, anyway, gonna get on the road.
Driving through Kansas can be boring to say the very least. It's 410 miles of highway lined with dogmatic billboards, flat land, and occasionally a gas station. The most exciting part of this drive was the 300-foot flames shooting out of the earth, presumably oil related. These flames are seriously taller than the windmills in the area that I was driving next to. And after an extremely long day, I've made it to where I'm camping. My first stop on this trip, Stockton Lake, Missouri. This man is almost entirely to blame for my obsession with the outdoors and my obsession with Toyotas. This is my dad.
We know that this area here is not a bad spot.
Stockton Lake is around 300 miles of shoreline. It's an unnatural reservoir that was formed by damming the Sac River in 1969. I spent a lot of my youth fishing these waters, so coming back here brings back fond memories. I used to be my dad's shadow, and most of the time that meant that I was fishing with him somewhere. And this man is an amateur biologist of freshwater fish, though he would never admit it.
Boy, cowboy. Yeah, bass.
We've been fishing for days, but my brother's the only one to catch a fish the entire time. With temperatures sitting between 80 and 90 degrees 24 hours a day, the fish aren't as active as we'd like. But I'm getting to fish for something other than trout for a change, so I'm not complaining. So after a day of hanging out with the guys, this part of the trip is unfortunately coming to an end.
What you think, old girl? Think you need a photo? Alright then. Got you.
On this trip, I'm testing the Zero Breeze Mark II air conditioning system. Living in Colorado for the last 11 years, I've gotten really used to cool nights, and I just can't handle the 80 degrees and 70% humidity all night long. So this keeps my tent at about 55 degrees. I should mention that I have no affiliation with Bones Coffee Company. I just really like their coffee. Part of the reason I love cold brew is because with one batch, it'll last 1 to 2 days.
Yeah, the coffees are great. It's a little almond milk and sugar. This one is really good. I haven't found one of these that I don't like. I kind of like this one better than the mint. And the mint chocolate chip. This is pretty awesome.
I have one last day to spend on the lake, and it's with my dear friend, Mr. Curtis Payne.
You ain't no fishing dog. Let's let him go. No.
Chop them up.
No, I mean, should we? Well, no, we'll do them all.
Unfortunately, the heat has really gotten to me. We spent a day finally catching some fish, and I'm too sick to eat any of it. Into the tent I go, with the AC on full blast to lower my body temperature. Mountain living toughens you up in some ways, but apparently it makes you weak in others. Luckily, I have some more time with Curtis, and he's taking me somewhere I've never been before, the wonders of wildlife. This place is built on the same property as the largest Bass Pro Shop in the world, which is in Springfield, Missouri. Johnny Morris, who's a bit of a legend around here, built this place to educate people on the great outdoors.
That was pretty neat. That was laying on side,
Curtis and his family thought that this was a place I absolutely needed to see, and I think they were right.
This thing's of at least 6 feet. Face coverings weren't open.
Man, he's going to town, isn't he?
There are plenty of aquariums around the world, but this one took special dedication to make it feel like you're actually in the outdoors.
Those are black crappie, aren't they?
I think so. Is that a walleye?
It needs to go to the dentist because their teeth are all
Don't worry, I won't let the shark get me.
Wind here.
Doing a tailspin. Oh, look, he's a fly.
Do like that.
In the end, we will conserve only what we love. We will love only what we understand. We will understand only what we are taught. Next week, in episode 2, we get into the real dirt of this trip. Join me next time to check out trails, mud, and perhaps the coolest campsite I've ever laid eyes on. We're heading to Arkansas.